Keeping it real. In a new series we follow headkeeper David Whitby as he manages his deer, his game birds, his corvids, his covids and Brock the badger. More high birds. I am at the spectacular Ashcombe shoot in Devon. Share the love, give the hunter in your life a gift that just keeps giving, or just treat yourself. Sign up to the Fieldsports Nation and help us keep on being the gritty bits in Packham's underpants. We have news, we have hunting YouTube. I'm even delighted to announce the return of Hallo Charlie. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Gamekeepers understand animals and the world in which they exist. For those that struggle with the concept, meet headkeeper David Whitby. He surrounds himself with many of the animals he spends his professional life controlling. Brock is the resident badger, treating Lisa and David's home as his own. Then there's the terrorist.
If he can break it, if he can kill it, he will. I mean, he was actually, you can probably notice one wing hangs lower than the other. He was picked up in the park. Somebody's dog mauled him as a chick, as a fledgling. And just an incredibly intelligent animal. He completely rules the dogs. He's just the devil incarnate, but I absolutely love him.
Over the coming weeks, David, one of the forefathers of the National Gamekeepers organisation, will show us how he manages this estate in Sussex, its wild deer and park deer, how he deals with the dynamic nature of the 2020 shooting season. Get them to park there. Lisa's going to bring out bacon sandwiches and tea, disposable everything. And some of his alternative techniques. Let's start with dogging in.
Like all driven pheasant shoots that release, you're pushing back, you're dogging in, you're knocking birds back from your boundary. And some years ago we tried this man who flies a goshawk. It works terribly well.
This is Trudy, my faithful partner. There you go.
How old's Trudy?
Trudy's 3, so she's just a baby. She's been working with me now for about a year. So she's had 1 season under her belt. And so she's still learning her trade, but she's coming along nicely. She's Stella, she's 3-year-old now, and she's a female Finnish goshawk. We'll get her kitted up with her transmitters.
Few keepers allow falconers to fly their ground, and if they do, it's usually at the end of the season. David allows it throughout the season and sees it as a symbiotic relationship.
It's more effective than a mad spaniel or Labrador knocking birds back into the middle. This really does terrify the pheasants, and it's a little while before they venture out again, whereas you can push birds back with a dog and they'll be back out again half an hour later. Not so much the case with a bird of prey. They push them well back into the middle, and someone else is doing it while I'm sitting with my feet up having a cup of tea, which is always good news.
As a lot of falconers will know, getting access to ground is very, very difficult for us. But David, I always call him one of the enlightened ones. And we tried, probably about 10 years ago now, we tried what we're doing now, and it works well for both of us. It really does. I obviously get to hunt my bird, and I'd like to think I'm providing a bit of a service to David. He seems to think it doesn't do any harm. And he does say it benefits him. I never find loads of birds, you know, on an average outing I'll get 2 or 3 flights, which is all we're looking for. 1 or 2 birds a day really is ample. Some days I'll catch one, some days we don't, and it's yeah, it's great. It's fantastic for me. To get the ground is very, 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 very difficult nowadays. So it works well for both of us, hopefully. Hey. Come on, Trudy.
Paul gets some hunting and the pheasants head back home. Not because they're terrified of the goshawk, although they have reason to be, but thanks to the presence of hawk, human and hound. It's a miserable day today. On our first visit to meet David, it was glorious. Perfect conditions to show off his cover crops.
It's a cover crop for game birds, but on the back of that, so many other species that need this, are thriving. And that's just one of the many benefits of shooting that we should be pushing forward. You know, cover crops, and there's a vast acreage of cover crops. When you've got the right thing in, and it's not just for pheasants, but it's for a whole host of creatures that need help, that need food, that need cover, be they insect or be they bird, this is what we've got, and this is what we're putting back into the countryside.
It's lovely, and a lot of shoots do this, but you're thinking holistically. There's joined up thinking here, because it's not just about the game bird, is it?
No, for goodness sake, no, it shouldn't be. Look, I'm not saying that the shooting world is perfect, far from it. We've got a lot that we've got to put right. But we're managing the countryside. The people that we work for have managed the countryside for centuries. They know what they're doing. Theirs is the bigger picture. They're not thinking about their lifetime, they're thinking about their children's and their grandchildren's lifetimes. They will inherit a thing of beauty. They are very anxious that this thing of beauty, this estate, continues to be a well-managed thing of beauty. And of course it has to wash, or try and wash its face financially. But the most important aspect here is the wildlife, is the countryside, is the whole ecology of this area. That is man-managed, but well man-managed. It's really, really a special place. And this is one of many estates that can thank not just the people who own it, but it can thank the field sports that take place on it when they are done correctly. And by correctly, that means that game birds are a part of it. They're not all of it or most of it. Your shoot is kept so that it is ecologically balancing and beneficial and not detrimental. And that's the important aspect that we've got to get right in shooting.
This is where the guns would normally be meeting. However, at the time of producing this film, the Prime Minister has announced a new lockdown in England, and our planned shoot day with David on the 16th of November 2020 is unlikely to proceed. Back to the boundaries, and Paul is frustrated we haven't made contact.
Yeah, that's it, we call it a day. When I see her pull off them like that, that's it, she ain't in the mood. She hasn't flown particularly well today, but as you can see, she still gets her food, she still gets her reward at the end of the day. She'll have the head and neck of a pheasant when she does make a kill. Which, on today's performance, looks like we could be in a couple of weeks' time. I am going to apologise, so we got it a little bit wrong today.
No, you did.
But talking to David, he's
quite
quite happy with what we've achieved. I'm sorry that we wasn't successful, but
can I just point
that's
out
falconry,
here,
isn't it?
Can I just
that's falconry, Dave.
I didn't want you to catch anything.
Well,
I'm delighted, but you pushed our boundaries in. Fantastic. That was the whole idea. And if you could just assure me that no goshawks ever catch anything, that would be
mine don't. Mine don't. But I know people's that do.
Next time, we're stalking wild deer and enjoying the rutting spectacle of the park fallow. For more information about the Sealand range of clothing worn by David and his team, go to gb.sealand.com. Thank you, David and Paul, and of course, Sealand. We thought Roy was quirky. Now, from Dr. Doolittle's to Dr. Do Fanny Adams, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. England looks likely to be joining Wales and Ireland in banning recreational shooting for its new lockdown. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's new restrictions orders specific bans on certain recreations in England, including driven game shooting, rifle and archery ranges and playgrounds. As coronavirus cases rise in England, Johnson said at the weekend that the new lockdown will be law. It will start on the 5th of November 2020 and will last for 4 weeks. The government told Basque that shooting carried out in ones and twos will be allowed, including pest control, wildfowling and deer stalking. There will be no hunting with hounds in England during lockdown. Many hunts, such as the Ledbury shown here, moved their opening days to Wednesday the 4th of November, so they could get the season underway. The hunting office says that the hounds should be exercised from the kennels by hunt staff only, and that horses can continue to be exercised from the stables, but only as part of their routine daily care and maintenance of fitness. The Angling Trust's first reaction to the new coronavirus lockdown is to try and keep its members fishing. In a letter to Cabinet Ministers, it points out that socially distanced outdoor sports, such as angling, golf and cycling, are beneficial to health, mental well-being and in reducing pressure on parks, footpaths and other open spaces. The English government is to ban pheasant release on about 10% of the British countryside, unless under licence. The announcement by Environment Minister George Eustace comes after BBC presenter Chris Backham's Wild Justice Group threatened to take the government to court over the issue. According to DEFRA, shoots won't be able to release pheasants or red-legged partridges within 500 metres of European protected areas, which include SSSIs, Ramsar sites and SPAs, except under licence. Natural England says it will operate a system of general licences, so no need to apply for a licence. Shooting organisations including Basque and the Countryside Alliance condemn the announcement. They say none of them were consulted. Grouse shooting visitors to Scotland spent £3,500 before even firing a shot. That's the conclusion of a survey by Scotland's regional moorland groups and the Scottish Gamekeepers Association. They asked 22 grouse shooting estates to quantify the level of visitor spend in remote rural communities adversely affected by COVID-19 constraints. Despite a lack of overseas shooters this season because of global quarantine rules, each visitor spent an average of £3,593.18 in local communities before shoot costs were added. The majority of respondents were UK grouse shooters, with a smaller number from the Netherlands, the average visit lasting 1 week. That makes grouse shooters 15 times more valuable per person than other UK tourists. Meanwhile, a survey of Scottish stalking businesses shows an average loss of £32,000 because of cancellations during the coronavirus crisis. A survey by the Association of Deer Management Groups found that 34 businesses report losses to date and forecast in the region of £1.1 million. The majority of the survey respondents reported losses from cancelled stalking of less than £20,000. However, bigger enterprises reported figures higher than £50,000, with the highest forecasting losses of £383,500. A film on Facebook of a deer being killed is being investigated by police. A group of young men from the London area are seen setting their dogs on a roe-doe. In another film, one of the men sets his dog on a roebuck. Called bushing, killing deer like this is illegal in the UK. An animal rebellion march on Buckingham Palace attracted just a handful of people. Backed by 5 animal and extinct rebellion groups, only a dozen of their members turned up to the march from Defra in Whitehall to Buckingham Palace to protest about the royal family going grouse shooting. The Irish government has banned game shooting and deer stalking due to level 5 lockdown in the Republic of Ireland. The ban will come in just ahead of the Irish pheasant shooting season, which opens on the 1st of November. A statement on the Garda website says that sport shooting is prohibited because it's not organised by a national governing body, funded by Sport Ireland. Staying with Ireland, and an Irish politician has called upon coursing clubs to release hares caught up for the forthcoming season. Coursing now starts on the 1st of December 2020 because of coronavirus lockdown. Showing a misunderstanding of coursing, Ireland's Minister for Heritage, Dara O'Brien, said that the hares are better off in the wild rather than being held in captivity in groups in confined enclosures. And finally, whatever the result of the American election, gun sales are up. Americans have bought nearly 17 million guns so far in 2020, more than in any other single year, according to estimates from a firearms analytics company. Gun sales across the US first jumped in the spring, driven by fears about the coronavirus pandemic, and spiked even higher in the summer during massive racial justice protests across the country, prompted by the killing of black Americans. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. More news on our website. Now I know you've missed it. I've missed it. It's Hallo Charlie.
Hello Charlie, this is Eddie. It's 1st of October on the Isle of Arran on the bass scheme. Just shot this lovely 8-pointer stag.
Hello Charlie.
Hello Charlie.
We just went up north. This is Adam and Jacob and me, Chris. And this is Adam's first bear in his life. He did shot this big black bear. It's a nice, decent, medium size, but it's a nice bear. Perfect shot. We've seen how many? This is 17? 17. They're very skittish. They're running away. And he's got it. He's his first bear. So, hello to all of you hunters and God bless. We're so happy. St. Hubert was very fortunate finally. It's the last night tonight and I can see this big boy. Oh, what a nice bear.
That's it. Please send me your Hallo Charlies via Facebook, YouTube, Dropbox or email charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you to all of you for sending those in, and I know David would be excited if you sent more in, so please keep them coming. Now, the Farleigh Wallop and Steventon shoots in Hampshire are still giving away a gun on a peg for everybody who signs up on their website, plus an additional 50 birds to the team of guns booked in to shoot with them. So first of all, the team of guns prize, it's easy. There are 4 entries and they're all WL Sporting, so I can announce the winner is WL Sporting. But the individual guns, that's more difficult. I put all your names as usual into my special app that chooses a winner. There you all are, quite a lot of you I'm afraid to say. And the winner is Jamie Hines. Jamie Hines, Steventon Shoot and Farleigh Wallop Shoot will contact you to see when you'd like to come shooting. Now, staying on pheasant shooting, I got the call from a very good Devon shoot. It is, as expected, wonderful shooting, which I put to Rafe Rayner, whose family owns Ashcombe, at the first break.
I know, and it's only October. Can you imagine what they're going to be like a bit later on? So we're mostly let days. We have 5 syndicate days, and like today, we have some family days as well, so we have 3 family days.
Gamekeeper Adam Eaton is in his first year at Ashcombe. He has worked with Paul Childerley in the past.
It's all right, it's a bit of a leap, but we're getting there. It's nice start, bit of stress, but we'll take it easy for this first year and see how we get on. Yeah, I went to Sparshot in Hampshire. I was there for 2.5 years. I'm from Hertfordshire.
It is, in many ways, it's a dream shoot, isn't it?
It is, and the weather helped a lot today. The wind and the bit of cloud overcast. It was good, it really was.
Any experiments today that worked, didn't work?
Yeah, just push them straight into the wind really. Normally we just fly them over some woods and we'll push them right into the wind and let them swing around today, and they took it on really well. I'm really impressed.
You've got solar panels on the shoot. Does that hold birds?
It does, with the amount of insects what are underneath them. It's so dry, and when they rain, they go under there and they're a nightmare to get out.
The PV company won't let Adam put a dog in among the cells. A bigger problem is that, like all shoots, Rafe has had to budget his days around whether or not there will be another lockdown in England, which there is. He has a team of Dutch guns that want to shoot at Ashcombe.
What I did was I deliberately didn't sell some January days because I thought there might be an issue, so I can move them with a bit of luck. But Holland is entering another lockdown, so might be a problem.
The shoot is a stickler for COVID security.
So we've had to split up everybody into more vehicles essentially. It'd be a bit crazy to try and get everyone to drive their own vehicles around tight narrow lanes in Devon. So what we've done is we've bought a couple of Polaris machines, off-road machines, and we've got the gun bus which has windows that roll up. So we limit the number of people in the gun bus to a maximum of 6, and then everybody else goes into the Polarises, also masked up. And then we have hand sanitizers everywhere as well, and some keep your distance stickers. So there's no point in taking risk for any reason at all, so we're much happier to have a safe day for everybody. So for example, on the new Polaris I didn't option the doors.
This can be a shoot for the best guns in the country. Today it is a shoot for all ages, and I meet a future connoisseur of great shooting.
Jeff shot very well, and Charlie shot very well.
The boy will go far. Now, sometimes confused with the Ashcombe estate in Dorset, the Devon Ashcombe we're on today has the kind of topography that makes Devon pheasant shooting famous.
We are getting there slowly. I think there's a few changes we'll have to make over the next couple of years, but we'll get there in the end. The valleys here, they've got to cross and they've got to commit to crossing them, otherwise they just dip in and you don't get a look, and they just take a bit of pushing. Like today, they flew really well for how young they are. They're still early, still fresh, but by the time January comes, we'll be laughing. They'll go.
To go shooting in Ashcombe, contact Rafe Rayner, and you can follow Ashcombe on gunsonpegs.com. There's a link in the description below. Thanks Ralph, Adam and all at Ashcombe, and let's hope all shoots get through these difficult lockdown months. Interesting an idea they're exploring in Ireland of extending the season for a month into February. Now, the Fieldsports Nation, and this week we have a new fundraising idea. Here it is. It's our Christmas supporter special. Is there someone in your life who wants to wake up to a Fieldsports Channel goodie box on Christmas morning, who would like my vlog delivered to them by email every Tuesday for the whole of 2021, giving them exclusive competitions to enter news about the shooting industry, what goes on behind the scenes at Fieldsports Channel, and a say in the programmes we make? Well, it's time for them to join the Fieldsports Nation, and you can give them that for £5 a month or £50 for the year. We've got 600 supporters, another 400 and we'll be able to pay for Fieldsports News. Just click on the link. And the most important thing, you will be supporting our news coverage of field sports in 2021, helping to make the case for hunting, shooting and fishing. I hope you all think that's a good idea. Just 400 new supporters and we get a news editor to continue putting out stories that fight for shooting. Leave that thought with you. Next up, it's Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Thank you to viewer Patrick for this suggestion. Lose yourself at more than 10,000 feet in the Wyoming backcountry. This is the first of 4 episodes with Randy Newberg hunting mule deer on, yes, unusually, llamas. Cap and Ball is on a driven pheasant day in Hungary, and of course, as Messrs Anson and Dealey rotate in their graves, he is using a flintlock, thanks to Per Homeseth for this suggestion. By comparison, our airgun presenter Roger Late is being surprisingly sane this week. He has a new kit channel, Triple G Roger Late, and he is testing air rifle slugs in 2.2 and 2.5. County deer stalking is in the middle of the fallow rut in the New Forest in the south of England. Peter Jones is taking Capriolas Club members stalking near Salisbury. Jean-Paul Guérin from the Seated Gun channel is shooting at one of the UK's best known estates, Water Priory in Yorkshire in this film. Northwoods Collective puts out a film about a passionate falconer. Tyler Sladen moved to New Mexico from Massachusetts pretty well just so he can fly his goshawk on southwestern quail. Jagan NRW is out after a red stag in the rut in Mazuria in northeastern Poland. He and the stalker stop a whopper and he shoots. And finally, a film that's good for you. My old editor at Shooting Times, John Gregson, who now works for Waitrose, makes this film for the GWCT about why he banned lead in-game at Waitrose. That's it for this week. I put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the I symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and best of all, pop your email address into our register page and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain, it's at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.